in the books. They said we couldn't do it, but we keep showing up and do it anyway. Welcome back to C Chat with Station C. I am Nathan Wickline. That is Eleanor Von Aiken, Sarah Messer. Our guest today is Freddy Jackson. We are coming to you live from the Star Hill downtown at the Dairy Market Lounge. Did I get everything in there?
I think so.
Okay.
Super awesome, cool place.
Super awesome, cool place. Get ready for your St. Patrick's Day. Come on out here to this. It's one day after Valentine's Day. Did everybody have a good Valentine's Day?
So busy.
Oh yeah, you're speed dating.
Oh my God. We sold 128 tickets.
Nice.
We had tons of people here. It was really a great event. We were really excited. Everybody had a really great time. We hope to do it again really soon.
Was there a love match?
There was. There was actually quite a few people that were like matched up and like, you know, we're like, we don't even need to put our cards in there. We've exchanged numbers. We're going to dinner. Like, we're going for drinks, whatever.
Wow.
It was really nice. You know, I went to all of them. I was like, oh my God, you have to tell me how it goes. I want to know like how it happened.
You were like way more women than men though, right? Or did that switch?
Well, it was. I'll be honest. Like 4 or 5 days ago, we had like a 4-to-1 ratio. And we were like, oh my God, what are we going to do? We can't do this. And then all of a sudden, it was like a 1.5-to-1 ratio.
Wow.
So, I mean, we sold like 40 tickets at the door within like an hour. And then I was like, all right, cutting ticket sales off. We can't do this anymore. Like, we have to get going with the event.
Did you do it out here or did you do it downstairs?
No, we did it out here in the middle of the market and did it right there at Milkman's. And we had tables all the way down to Citizen Burger for speed dating. And all the other tables in the middle of the market were all speed dating tables. And next time, I think we're going to do more like games to get to know each other, and we'll just kind of change it up.
What'd you do? Like they just sat across from each other like 2 minutes, and you're like,
and we had Date Jar, which is out of Norfolk. It's a little bit different of a dating app. It's more of like a community-based dating app. So you kind of, you know, they do things like packages for dates and things like that to kind of help you meet and do stuff like that. And they were here, and they had like jars of questions and stuff on all the tables, and we had Bloom Matchmaker here. She's like the top matchmaker in Virginia, and she's out of Richmond, and she was here, and she helped with getting things organized and all that stuff. It was great. It was so much fun.
And you had representation from the LGBTQ plus community
We
as well?
did a little bit.
Okay.
So we didn't have as much as I really wanted to, so we've decided that going forward when we do these events, we will do some events just that are LGBTQ.
Great.
And then ones that are just all-inclusive and see what happens. But
Awesome.
yeah, it was a ton of fun.
That's great for a first speed
I
date
know. We were super excited
That's
about
what
it.
happens when you bring Eleanor
I know.
into your operation.
She's
She's
got
going to
that
do
force.
some cool things, and
I know.
magic's going to happen.
I will say. Kind of good at it.
Yeah, that's what I do. So, well, you know, like I said, this is our 4th episode, and today our guest is going to be Mr. Freddy Jackson from Love, No Ego.
That's right.
We're excited to have you here, man. We know you're doing some pretty awesome things around the community. You know what? Just first of all, just give us a little bit of background on who you are and how you got here.
Well, thanks for having me. Any chance you get to share your message, it's a great opportunity. So thank you guys. How did I get here? That's a mystery question.
It's a big question.
Yeah, but born and raised Buckingham County, so grew up familiar with Charlottesville, of course. Yeah. This was like the town, the city that I drove to when I got my first car.
Right.
Big time. But I'm a former college athlete. I'm a former music artist. I'm a personal trainer, 13, 14 years now. Lived in a lot of different places all over the country. Undergrad in radio broadcasting journalism, so I messed with all these mics and things and producing ads and whatnot. Lived in Hollywood, was on a lot of shows and court shows and Price is Right and Jay Leno. I worked a lot of those shows like often. So got a lot of great experience and brought it back home to Buckingham in 2012. And honestly, I just got sick and tired of the ego being out front.
Right.
That's what we glorify, that's what we promote, that's all of the messaging that never stops. And I classify the ego as overly self-centeredness and the fear piece. Fear can push you into a corner, have you do some things that's not good for you, right? So just kind of, and then my own mistakes living from my ego.
Right.
I was in things thing, you know,
Yeah.
those mistakes I made. But undergrad, radio broadcasting, master's in psychology, second master's in organizational development and leadership. Brought it home, formed a nonprofit in 2016. Love, no ego. I just say, hey, we need more love, less ego. Got a history in working with youth and young adults in Pittsburgh. I ran a runaway shelter for teenage girls. I was a life skills coach, a lot of things, residential counselor in a group home. So I just brought it all together, and it was like, we're gonna form a nonprofit.
Yeah.
We'll call it Love, No Ego, and we're gonna cater to the youth and young adult population and to help them establish like a foundation within that's just not easily shaken by all the noise and the chaos, you know?
Just saw the hole in that vacuum and said, let me fill that.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I just brought to the table what I felt were my strengths, spirituality. You know, we're human beings, we're spirited by default.
Yeah.
It'll be a disservice not to pay attention to that, you know? So, not necessarily religion. We're not affiliated with any religious entity. It's just more about the human intuition and igniting that space.
Sure.
Trying to get you to be the best person that you can be. Exercise, personal training, former college athlete, education's not a one-time thing. You never, just because you graduated doesn't mean you're done. And community is our pillar. So our 4 pillars there, and we need the community to do what we do.
Right.
So,
What do you think, you talk about these 4 pillars, your experience now, you've been doing this for a few years, which is the one that we're kind of losing the most touch with? Is it the communities, the spirituality?
I think it's spirituality.
Yeah,
that's easy
right?
for me because that kind of takes care of the rest.
Yeah.
The other pillars. You know, if you have a practice to where you can pay attention, because love will tell you what to do, it'll tell you what to say, it'll tell you what decisions to make, but we're so distracted by so much noise, and we're in tune to so many things that don't even freaking matter, man. You know?
It's a lot of noise out there.
It's just all the time. The second you come out of the womb, it's on. Doctor slaps you for fluorescent lights and machines and TVs and noise and messages, and it hasn't stopped yet.
How did you get out of that? Because here you are, you're a young, good-looking guy out in Hollywood. You're doing all these cool things.
Thank you.
How do you? I'm serious though. I mean, that's got to be you had to have a real crossroads, come to Jesus moment at some point to say, I got to get out of here. I got to go back and do something.
A lot of things,
What was
man.
that?
I made some mistakes. I hurt some people, relationships, and hurt myself.
Right.
Just one small example. I was in college, and we had 5 games left in the season, and I wanted to make sure, like, we make the playoffs, and I was hurting. I had this pain in my side, and I started popping these pills, these like 800 milligram pills, right? Ibuprofen, like 5 times a day. And during that time, too, I was also in love with being on the front page of the paper because I was leading scorer, leading rebound. I was like, I can't wait to see the paper on Sunday morning and blah, blah, blah. So I was more in tune to that piece, being on the front page and the whole notoriety on the campus and the girls and the people and everybody liking me. I was more in tune to that than I was like my own physical health. And good thing we didn't make the tournament, because if we did, I probably would have kept popping the pills. So about 5 games later, we lost, we didn't make it, stopped taking the pill, and I just woke up with this whole, my whole left hip side of my body was just going crazy. And I had to go to the hospital, I had to have immediate surgery, I had tore all kind of blood vessels, I was bleeding internally. Just one small example of how I was tuned into the wrong things.
Yeah, and how these external things can really mask an internal injury. So I
Yeah,
guess that's
So to answer your question too, I think it's spirituality, because it kind of, once you wake up, you guys probably know, you to being your best self, and you kind of see what you're here to do, everything you're here to do and be here on this earth. You just can't go back to the bullshit.
Purpose.
Yeah, purpose.
Everybody
It's no
has
way.
to have a purpose.
Yeah, purpose. It's no way you can go back to that crap. It's just not fulfilling and filling up your love cup, your love space. So why are you doing it?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've all had the great opportunity to hear Freddy speak, at least a little bit, and I'll talk to that. But the thing that resonated and stuck with me most is you talked about toolbox, what's in your toolbox. And, I think we've all probably heard that at some point before, but the first tool that you presented out of your toolbox was basketball, which, most of the time you're hearing like perseverance or dedication, but yours was so relatable, and it just shifted the whole lens of that conversation of what could be in a toolbox. So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit more about the
so
toolbox.
I should have brought the toolbox. So I travel with a little toolbox when I speak and go to kids and schools. And, what do you do with tools? Like, life is simple. Like, there's no need to make it all complex. It's very simple. We make it so difficult and challenging. It's just unnecessary. So, what do you do with tools? You fix things. You repair things. You tear some stuff down. You might have to rebuild some stuff, So I travel with this toolbox, and in that toolbox, I have these little references to tools and some actual tools, like a pillow. I like to rest. Not necessarily sleep, but I need rest,
Right.
Headphones for music, things like that. A water bottle, we need H2O, and a basketball in there. So I'm a kid from Buckingham County. I share this story all the time. Like, I played on red dirt, you know what I'm saying, Cliff, and clay. And my first hoop was my bicycle rim, nailed to a tree with no backboard, no nets, nothing. My mom had clothes on the line. I had to go get those clothes off the line before I started kicking up all this dust, And years later, I'm in like Puerto Rico at a basketball tournament.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, I'm from Buckingham, man. Like, I'm in Puerto Rico playing ball, and it's all paid for.
Yeah. You use that tool well.
Use the tool. Don't let the tool use you.
There you go.
Like I did with that, trying to get on the front of the paper.
Nice. That's right.
So the tool started using me, and guess what? It broke me down.
Yeah.
So
You've done other things to kind of add to the toolbox. I know you brought a couple of them. Talk about what these are, these books.
Yeah, so I brought a couple of books for you guys. Love No Ego, Where You're Living From. It just kind of highlights the love and fear space, and like why we make the decisions that we do. Like, we do this all day, every day.
Right.
You gravitate to this because you like it. You eat this ice cream because you like it. You play the sport because you love for it, your love for it. And then you stay away from things that you fear, or you try to you kind of avoid. Sometimes you're in it and it's too late, and you're kind of like allowing the anxiety and all of that to come upon you. But it just highlights those spaces. Love, no ego, where you're living from. And to raise that level of consciousness, that vibration, that human intuition, so you can make better decisions.
Yeah.
And once you make better decisions and you live on purpose, as you said, your track was for you,
Yeah.
You do.
I feel like we can all benefit from this, but you actually have a group that you like to work with more, right? Is there a defined age group that your Love No Ego works with?
We started in the schools because that was my jam. I'm kind of like a big kid, I like to play. I like to climb trees. I watch the sunrise every day.
Stay young.
I'm out in nature, getting dirty, So it's like we gotta cater to the youth, and I saw like the longevity too in catering to the youth. Like, we can kind of like make a whole generation pivot.
Change life.
Yeah.
I mean, you change the whole course of everything. You change one life. How many people have you touched and affected?
Exactly. So then the corporate world started calling. I started talking about ego in the workplace and removing those biases and judgments and all that, and try to get people to perform at an optimal level, like personally as well as professionally. Because the pillars, they work. They are what they are.
Universal.
If we're human, it's going to work.
Yeah.
And then I wrote the user's manual. And I titled it and spelled it that way on purpose, YOUSER.
I was going to ask about that.
Apostrophe S, because, it's a manual to you. I mean, we know how to work a lot of things. I know how to work this mic, that camera, the phones, and cars and stuff, but we don't know how to work ourselves. And I think that's the problem with society. We don't know how we work.
Yeah.
We know how everything else works, but we don't know how we work. Like, what brings you joy? What would you do every day if it wasn't like money connected to it? Like, what would you do?
Right. And guarantee you most people are going to say something they're not even close to doing right now, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Right. And so you find that, and then you find a way to monetize that. You don't chase the money.
We'll talk to you after this is over.
Yeah. Got something for you.
Yeah. So if I'm, so there's got to be a large number of kids that are, working with you in your group. How do they find you? How do you find them? How do they come to be part of Love No Ego?
So we offer up some presentations to schools where we go in and do full-on assemblies, shut it down, bring everybody to the gym, teachers, everybody, educators. We invite school board members, everybody. And when you present to 600 kids, teachers, administrators, superintendents at once, you rock them out, and they all leave with a couple of Love No Ego stickers. and they started to be on laptops, they started to be on water bottles, they started to be on back of cars.
Yeah.
You know, people are like, what is that?
What is that?
And, you know, and I think they're very attracted to the message because it just kind of sums it up. Like, damn, I could live that.
Right.
You know, so it's been all organic, you know, and the professional, the motivation and the inspirational speaking leads to how can I get my son, my child, my daughter into your program, into the mentoring piece. Where
Yeah, I was just about to ask you about, I know that you guys do a lot of mentoring for kids
yeah,
too.
so we have about 15 kids that we service here locally. We see them once a week. They usually stay with us about a year and a half, 2 years. Some have stayed even longer, and they are like junior mentors now and kind of high schoolers that are serving the elementary kids. And we go from age range 10 to 24. So a wide range, give or take, upper elementary, middle school, all the way up to graduating college, give or take a year. So we want, because, I mean, young adults need it too, like college students. That 18 to 24 is a space where kids are kind of just go ahead, dropped off, and go do your thing.
Yeah, all of a sudden you're just an adult and you're supposed to be making all these choices that are going to affect you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you've got somebody like Freddy Jackson helping you, maybe you got a little bit of an advantage there.
Yeah, and that's what I said. Yeah. And that's what, you know, all together kind of helped me create this, because I was like, man, if I had that at 16,
right.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I needed you at 16.
I'd be something serious right now.
Who knows what I'd be doing right now?
But so that was, you know, part of the inspiration behind it, and again, at the end of the day, it's purpose. It's like it helps you sleep at night, man. It wakes you up.
Right.
Like, what else you want?
So most of the kids, are they out in Buckingham or Chelsea? I know I've seen your van. I live in Redfields. I've seen your van in Redfields.
Yeah.
That's where I first started seeing this van a few years ago. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
All of this. Because it's definitely a great logo and it's great marketing and branding and stuff. But I mean, it's just kids from all over. I mean, do you meet at a certain place? Do you go to them?
Yeah.
You go to them? How's it work?
So, you know, we don't have a brick and mortar, and I kind of like it like that right now. I don't see any need to spend the extra funds and create more bills, you know, and funding worries. So we go to them, we pick them up, and we take them out, and we use our partners, we use community resources. We do 95% of what we do is outdoors in nature. Like we go into Blue Ridge, we go to Charlottesville, all these trails and rivers. Like we use it, and what better setting to help you hone in that message of love no ego other than nature, you know? So we get them out there, we take them out, and we work on those pillars, and they're able to disconnect from the outside, kind of reconnect and focus inward. And these kids, they're from all walks of life. We have partnerships for like Reclaim Hope Initiative. If you're familiar with them, they foster support foster parents and adoptive parents who adopt internationally, nationally, and they use our mentors to bridge that gap for their kid that's coming in who might be from Africa in a whole new country, new school, new family, everything. So we have partnerships like that where they use us as the mentors.
How many mentors do you have?
We have like 9, 10, and maybe 2 in training.
And when you have you have somebody come to you and say, I would love to be a mentor, what are you looking for in that person?
A person who just wants to, wants to give and can commit to showing up, being their best selves. The psychology background and things like that helps. Just more intuitive and just ready to give. And then we have our in-house training, which we do. And then we have external resources that we use. We use Reclaim Hope Initiative. We get some trauma training. And for the most part, we've been able to serve every kid that has come to us.
Yeah.
What's the time commitment from a kid and from a mentor? Like if I want to bring my kid to Freddy and Love No Ego, hour a week, 2 hours a week?
Yeah.
Is that just kind of vary? And for a mentor, like what should I expect?
Usually the minimum is like an hour and a half a week.
Okay.
Based on the goals and the needs of that client, of that kid, we can amp it up maybe twice a week. Sometimes it's every other week, depending on the needs. And we also have our workshops and events going on all the time. So all the kids that are in the program can also come to the workshops and events and be a part of that.
Awesome.
So it's more like once you're a Love No Ego, you're just in there. You're in there for life.
What kind of things, I have a couple of kids, right, and they're, that age range, 10 to 12 years old. What kind of things is it that I need to know about Love Ego's program if like I have a kid and I'm like, oh, I wonder if Freddie's mentors would want to mentor my kids. What kind of kids are you mentoring? Like, are they just kids that are from broken homes? Are they just kids that, have experienced, trauma? Are they just kids that are autistic, low grades? Like
Just
what?
kids.
Yeah, just kids that like, so is there any kind of like, is there any kind of like check sheet you're going through and going, all right, mom, tell me about your kid.
Yeah.
This is what I'm looking for if we're a good fit for
Right.
being
It's
a mentor
more,
for you.
and honestly, it's easier to say what we not able to serve. We've only had one kid that we wasn't able to serve, and he at one point was doing virtual sessions with us. He had some behavior things that were very strong and he's physically violent, just tearing up the house, things of that sort, which we were unable to serve him, But and a lot of things, due to that situation, medications and this and that. So, but we take them all. If we have the capacity and we feel like we're able to serve and make this difference, and again, we have the capacity to take them on, we take them. So we have a variety of kids with different diagnoses, but there's this underlying thing that if you that love no ego message, there's this underlying foundation to it that's just human.
Right.
And if you put people in the right settings and you have to let people be too. You have to, sometimes you have to let folks be, especially our youth who are just bombarded every single day with just messaging and influence, and like most of them are acting all day. Like they're acting all day, and that's a sad thing. So what we want to do is give them the courage to be you, give them the courage to be themselves and develop that trust and intuitive spirit with yourself that it's going to be all right. You have that knowing within you, and we help them listen to that knowing. And then, we give them what we can give them, but we also connect them to resources in the community based on what they're interested in. So it might be blacksmithing, it might be auto mechanics, it might be this, that, and we try to feed that groundwork of love, no ego on top of we're learning how to be. Let's take that energy of being and let's go do.
Yeah.
And it creates that purpose, purposeful living. So
How do you bridge that gap? Like when you're trying to talk to a middle school age kid, you're already not cool, And so how do you approach the kids like, hey, how do you explain love no ego to them? Like we're here to do blank, and how do you get over that resistance that you might interact with them?
It's you have to. I think we have this naturally. We're able to connect with people naturally. I think we put too many, I don't know what to call it, pieces and complex.
You think too much?
Yeah, we think too much. That's the brain's job. That's what it's job. You lay down, it's still thinking, you're dreaming. It never stops. Be thankful for it. Use the tool, But it's hard to say how do we go beyond that. But it's more about listening. It's more about connection before correction. And you have to let people be sometimes. We've had sessions where a kid didn't say nothing for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But we could have been walking in nature. There's rapids, and then, he comes out of that shell. He starts to trust. He starts to see. He starts to apply and see the rewards for applying. And I think that we have that within us. We just don't practice it enough.
I'm ready to run through walls for Freddy Jackson. Love those.
I was so excited. I was so excited that you were coming. I was like, I literally was going to be here just listening to you the whole entire time.
Yeah, I'm not the only one, I'm sure. And so Station C, we're full of business owners and entrepreneurs and people with connections and people with pockets. Love no ego doesn't just happen, right? Just right.
Yeah.
So if I'm a business, I'm someone that wants to maybe I don't have the time, but I got a few bucks in the bank. How do I go about connecting with you on that level?
Yeah, so we have many ways, to get involved and support. You can always volunteer. If you don't have time for volunteering, you can join the advisory team. We meet once a quarter. They give us non-binding, strategic advice to the board. and our mentors. You can also, of course, donate financially, money. You can also sponsor a mentee. Like, say, for example, $1,000 gives a kid 12 sessions. Gives him the supplies that he needs. He gets both books. He gets the user's manual poster. He gets some stickers. He gets a hammock. Each kid gets a hammock because we go hammocking and all that. Yeah. And it gives the mentor as well the supplies and the resources he needs to implement the message as well. We have Love No Ego puzzles. And you know, it's like, it's so simple, but it's like, it's so entertaining. Like, we have this thing we do called the Foundation for Success, and I'm getting off topic a little bit. Foundation for Success, where we kind of pinpoint like what's natural versus unnatural, what's truth versus illusions, because you know this thing makes up a lot that doesn't even matter, right? We're always worried about tomorrow and yesterday, but we're always in the now, right? Yeah. So we kind of help them see that in this Foundation for Success, it has everything in there that's natural in this circle. Everything, including them, their intuition, the trees, sun, moon, stars, and they do it. They name it. They do it, and then they name everything that's unnatural, and that goes on. It goes on and on and on for days. You know, phones, cars, houses, this TikTok, social media, this mics, cups, everything, right? And Love No Ego, where are you living from? We ask them that question all the time. Mm-hmm. They have a situation, they have an incident, like, so what space are you occupying right now? You know. When you woke up this morning, what was the first thing you did? Which space did you jump into? Did you jump in and check that phone, check TikTok? Or did you just kind of sit on the edge of your bed for a minute? Kind of let things be. Right. So we do simple things like that, and those are some of the resources and tools that we use that we kind of created. So people can sponsor a mentee and have that mentee. It'll cover 12 sessions. And you can do it on and on. It can be ongoing, and you can do it one time. So we use sponsorships as well as grants to kind of fund the mentoring program. We don't charge the families, like, not a dime.
And there's, I guess, is it lovenoego.com?
.org.
Mm-hmm. So if you are so inclined, go there, out, sign up, make a donation, donate some time, do something great. But it's been great getting to know you.
Yeah.
Today, man. Appreciate
so we always
you
usually ask like one question at the end.
Yeah.
Like,
let's do it. I like questions.
I was going to ask what's my why, what's your why, but I think,
my why?
geez Louise.
I know, he told us so much. It's been very difficult. I've changed it a couple of times while he's talking.
What's your favorite color?
What's your favorite color? So
make it good, make it juicy.
Well, I guess
Pressure.
Well, you know, I mean, you talk a lot about like trying to get rid of that ego, but at the same time, love, right? But you have to love yourself, right? To be able to put that ego down and change the narrative on how you talk about yourself and how you present yourself to the community. So I want to know what you love about yourself.
I knew you were going to say that.
What I love about myself?
Yes. If there was one thing you could choose?
What I love about myself.
What do you love about yourself?
That you have no ego.
You have no ego.
What I love about myself. I keep it very simple. Let me explain. I keep it very simple, right? I don't even have a TV. I don't do all that crazy stuff. I have plants and one chair in my house. We're just simple people, right? But also, I always like to let the community tell me what they think I am, you know? And that's kind of entertaining. But for me to say it, I would say like the resiliency that I have, because and that's due to the purpose itself too, you know, but the resiliency is like, I don't know, like I don't need a lot of sleep, you know, right? and my wife is always talking about that. Like, why do you get up so early like that? Like yesterday I got up, you guys going to trip out, but I woke up at like 1:39 a.m. I still see the numbers, like it was 1:39 when I woke up yesterday.
Nap.
You know,
Time to go.
It's getting up late, not early.
And you know, I was there, I was present, and it would have it would have hurt me, it would have limited me like a little bit more if I tried to go back to sleep, and then start my day. So I just started my day.
Yeah.
And
Sarah, what do you think your thing is that you love about yourself as much? So much, like the one thing
Why are
you
we going that
can
way?
say. We're coming this way.
besides that hair.
My hair.
I really don't love this question, but
I know, right? It's hard.
passion. I have a lot of
that's a
passion
good one.
for Nathan.
I'm just kidding. That's a great answer.
I can't. Nathan, why don't you go next? What you got over there?
What do you love about yourself the most?
Whoa. I mean, you want the top 10? No.
One word, Nathan.
You know what? the thing that I love the most about me is not me, it's the two people that I've created, my daughters.
That doesn't count.
Doesn't it?
They are wonderful.
They are wonderful. We do that.
Something
I would
about
say
you.
it's my ability to be empathetic.
There you go.
That's helped me in sales. That's helped me in life. You know, I feel horrible now because I got up at 6:05 and went back to sleep. I was like, I can go back to sleep for another 45 minutes.
I've slept for like 3.5 hours. So I'm working on nothing too. I think that the thing I love about myself so much is probably my gregariousness. You know, I'm always like,
Really?
yeah.
I'm just kidding. Very good.
I mean, like, I'm a happy, kind of go-lucky person. I think that I can put myself out there and, you know, people usually like me.
You know when E walks into a room. That's for
You
sure.
do. Presence.
Sweet.
My God, Freddie, totally off track, sort of, kind of, not really, but there's this sprout coming up between like our sliding doors, and it's like coming out of concrete. It's inside of our house. When you say resilient, that's what I think of. You know,
for
just
sure.
the ability to
Going
thrive.
through the concrete.
Anywhere.
Maybe take a picture and send that out and put that on the.
I'm on it. I'll tag Freddie.
Station C website.
Thrive.
All right. Well,
That's the perfect.
that is episode 4. That is Freddy Jackson. That is Love
Thank
No
you,
Ego.
Freddie.
Go check him out. This is our passionate Sarah Messer, our gregarious Eleanor. I am your empathetic Nathan Wickline. We'll see you back here next week. I believe it's John Smith, is it not?
It is John Smith.
John Smith will be our guest next week. Now he can't pull the cord and bail out.
Coming for you,
He's
John.
been trying, but that is going to be exciting. John said he's got a lot of great stories for us, and he promises it's going to be the most exciting episode ever. So we're excited.
Can't wait.
But that's great. Thank you once again, Freddie Jackson.
Thank
Love
you,
No Ego.
Freddie.
Go check him
Thank
out.
you, Cliff, for
And
being
we will
here.
see you next week.
Thank you, guys.